Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with my review for the series premiere of Dynasty. Alright, so, yeah, honestly, I was pleasantly surprised with this one. I originally wasn't going to check it out. I did hear about it, as part of, some of my, stuff that I was, looking up for the fall season, right, to see, what was all coming and some new stuff. So I have heard of it. I did see it, back in the summer. I saw, some clips of this in the trailer, and I wasn't a huge fan of it then, but I've seen, some of my friends told me to check it out now. And I did watch it last night, as it was on. So, yeah, and I've seen some other people, checking it out. And there was a lot of stuff on Twitter about it last night too. Before the show even aired, like a few minutes before, and then during there was a lot of stuff. So, yeah, I just thought, why not make a video for it? Why not give it a chance? Watch the pilot. And yeah, I mean, I went into it. I knew that, I'm probably not going to watch more than this episode 1. Or, maybe I'm going to get in that situation where, a few months down the road, I'm bored, I'm running out of shows or something, and I go back and binge watch this, which is definitely a regular occurrence for me. I do that all the time. I watch, 1-2 episodes or whatever, and then, come back when I have more time, and end up, binge watching the rest of the season. And right now, I don't really have a lot of time, with the shows that I review, and then also, some of the other shows that I watch that I don't review, and then of course other stuff too outside of TV and stuff. So yeah, but anyways, I thought it was great. I was really surprised by it. CW, they've been known to have, a few misses here lately. And I've heard really bad things about Valor. I was actually going to make a review for that, but I don't know. I missed the episode on Monday night, and I've already been doing the Brave and SEAL team, so I'm kind of just going to stick to those two and kind of ride that out. So I'm not going to do Valor, but yeah, so CW's had a few misses here, so I was a little bit skeptical, but I checked it out, and yeah, honestly, I thought it was pretty good. Now, something, totally, it's not, totally for me, right? I'm not a big, kind of soap opera kind of, comedy kind of, I just like dramas, right? Usually. So, yeah, it's not totally for me, but I kind of, I'm doing this on the basis of the actual, production value, the show value, and, the series in general. Not necessarily, what I would like, right? Because, this show, it seems pretty good, but, just doesn't, my personal interest isn't, really peaked with this show, or at least in this first episode, right? Just not my cup of tea, really, but I thought, I still evaluating it on, a merits of a TV show I thought it was really good. So, yeah, I think that's mainly my main stuff. I'm going to go over a little bit of a recap here, try to avoid spoilers. So if you haven't seen it yet, keep watching, and then share some of my overall thoughts, and then, I'll give a rating, favorite character as well at the end, like I typically do for these. And, yeah, so also, if you're new to the channel, before we start here, my summer lineup finished a little bit ago, so, if you want to, you saw some of those episodes, or some of those shows, you want to go watch some reviews, and fall lineup, I'm doing the Deuce, the Brave, SEAL Team, Walking Dead when it starts, and I'm doing, some premiere reviews as well, so, please check those out as well, and, subscribe, too, if you're new and you like the channel. So, anyways, yeah, the recap for this one, so basically this episode starts off, and we meet Fallon Carrington, played by Elizabeth Gillies, I believe Gillies, maybe. And she was great. I'll talk more about her a little bit later, but yeah, I really thought that she kind of stole the show here, or at least, in this episode. And yeah, I really like the character. So basically, she is the daughter of a very wealthy man named Blake Carrington, who's actually played by Grant Show. That's actually his name. That's a pretty nice name, Grant Show. But yeah, so and he did great as well. I thought he was good. And also, I forgot to mention, but yeah, so this was an original show in I believe it was the 80s it was on. So yeah, so this is kind of a remake or a sequel to that original show, and I haven't seen that original show, of course, I wasn't alive back then. But yeah, so I haven't seen that. So I'm kind of going on a new basis here. Now, fans of that show who did watch that may even like this more, right? Because they may, pick up on some things. I heard there were some cameo appearances with the old actors. So, yeah, definitely, those fans might pick up on stuff, but I'm not one of those fans. So then, yeah, we meet the dad, the daughter, and then we meet Fallon's brother, or Blake's son, and basically, he's named Stephen Carrington. He's played by James McKay, and I haven't seen much of his stuff, that much, so he's kind of a new guy, at least to me. And so we kind of get the impression that the mom's kind of out of the picture. We know that the dad's had quite a few girlfriends and stuff. And I think at one point they do talk about the mom leaving. So I think that's what happened. The mom's kind of just gone. I don't know if we'll see her maybe sometime in the season. Maybe they'll make they'll talk about her again. But I'm not sure. So basically, the family owns an electric company called Carrington Atlantic. Yeah, Carrington Atlantic. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but Carrington Atlantic, and basically, it's a very, very wealthy company, and that's kind of how they got all their wealth, right? So yeah, very interesting there, obviously, definitely a interesting family, right? They're, filthy rich, and it doesn't look like they're stopping anytime soon with this big company. And yeah, so that's just kind of the introduction there that we get, introduced to all those main characters. So then basically this episode starts off with Fallon and her brother are basically called back home by their father, who tells them he has an announcement. So both these, that Fallon is, out doing her own thing, somewhat for the company, I think. And the brother is, I think it said in Haiti, helping like the rebuilding or something like that. So they get called home. They both come home. Fallon thinks it is to make her COO of the company, and she's really excited about it. She really thinks that that's what it's about. But it's not. It's a lot different, actually. Instead, it's the announcement that him and Crystal, and she's played by Natalie Kelly. So yeah, basically that him and Crystal are going to be getting married, and yeah, so it's definitely weird, right? Because Crystal is like young 20s and works for him at the company. So she's under him. He's her boss. And the father is at least late 50s, maybe early 60s. But I'm thinking 50s. So, yeah, quite a bit of an age gap there. And also, she works for him. So obviously this isn't a typical relationship here between the father and the I guess the fiance, right, Crystal. And we kind of get the impression that he's done it before. Fallon says some stuff, that he's had girlfriends like this in the past. So he's obviously, kind of a player, right? He's kind of that, fits that kind of stereotype. And, so definitely a big announcement there. Fallon, not happy with the announcement because, one, she thought she was going to get the COO job, and also, we kind of get the impression that she's kind of, she doesn't really like any other women in his life, really, right? She's kind of against that. And also, Crystal, working for him, being a lot younger, that also puts her off as well. But we kind of see that Steven's not really fazed by it too much. He's probably not the biggest fan of it, but, he's not like Fallon. He doesn't really speak out about it or say much or do anything. He kind of just, goes with it, right? I guess he's kind of used to it. But yeah, basically Fallon tries to expose Crystal then in this episode and get her father to break up with her, and kind of sees her as a threat, really. I think that's sort of the main reason why, she does this. And that's sort of the first half of the episode, is Fallon kind of trying to get at this girl and, test her a little bit, test her father, and see if she can break them up. As soon as, they've been together. And they've only been together 4 months, and they're already getting married, too. So that's another weird thing as well. And then we also find out that Blake, the dad, uses his daughter and his son to make a deal for this renewable energy company. So that's kind of the real reason that he actually called them home, was so that, he could get information from Fallon, and then he could get his son to go to actually talk with the head of the board or whatever, who is gay, by the way, right? And the son is gay. I do mention that a little bit later, or I will mention it, but yeah, so he's kind of playing them a little bit, and yeah, so we kind of just see what kind of guy he is. Very good at using people, right? I mean, he like uses his own kids in that situation, and it's kind of brews up a fight between Crystal and him, maybe their first fight even. And yeah, it kind of draws a little bit of a divide, and you kind of see what kind of guy he really is. And obviously Crystal hadn't seen that before, so that was a little bit new to him, or sorry, new to her. So that that kind of created a little bit of a divide there. But towards the end of the episode, then Blake is able, to kind of apologize to her, and him and Crystal come up with a plan. So they decide to move up the wedding date. That is a few weeks down the road, and have a surprise wedding the next day. Which is obviously crazy. I think it's a little unrealistic, but this family is like crazy rich, right? So I think they could basically do anything they wanted. And the other part of that is Crystal gets the job of COO at the company. So the whole plan for this is kind of so, that Fallon will respect her, kind of punishment, I kind of, think, that the dad's kind of punishing her for, trying to, hurt Crystal and find information on her to try to break them up and stuff. So yeah, respect and a little bit of punishment. They move out this wedding date that obviously Fallon doesn't want, and he gives Crystal the job that Fallon really, really wanted. So obviously this creates a lot of tension, and then we got that scene where Fallon comes into the room where Crystal has her dress on, and she's getting dressed to go out to the party. And yeah, they basically Fallon gets into a fight with her before the wedding there, and that was a great dramatic scene, right? That was good. And I really expect a lot more of those scenes in this show. And that's, really, really big positive for the show already. So, yeah, that was a good scene for sure. Great, dramatic scene, them kind of fighting and her tearing off her dress. And, yeah, so that was very entertaining, that one. And just shows, the anger that Fallon has. And I think rightfully so. I think this was a kind of a dick move by the dad to kind of get back at her. So, and yeah, and that has two sides of the coin there as well, right? Because, I mean, Fallon didn't really have a right to kind of get mad at him and Crystal, right? And she is like downright rude to Crystal, right? For no reason. They've never met before. So, yeah, so kind of goes both ways there. And we got a very dramatic ending as well. Very suspenseful. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not going to give away too many spoilers. I guess this wedding thing, I guess it's a spoiler, but like it doesn't, it's not really, it doesn't really matter. I think they even said that in the synopsis that, they move up a wedding date or something. So not really spoilers. And I'm not going to spoil anything here either, but, an event happens and it's, not very good. So anyways, because of this event then, there's obviously that very suspenseful ending. And yeah, I thought it was good. It makes you want to tune in next week and see what happens next, right? And that's, exactly what these shows try to do. And I think that's a success if that, if they make you do that. And it worked on me too. I think I may actually check out episode 2 of this, even though, it's not really my cup of tea in a TV show, but I think I might check it out just to see, what's going on, kind of joining in the buzz, that a lot of other people are having. And yeah, we'll definitely see, where this goes. So thought that was a good important part of the episode there as well. So now I'll get to some of my overall thoughts of the episode, and, some of the series stuff, some of the foreshadowing for the series as well. So the first thing that came to mind is, every character has a secret to hide in this show. And I thought, how cool is that, right? I mean, to have a show like that. I mean, the brother is gay and, now has a new sort of boyfriend, I guess. Fallon, I mean, she, she's made this deal now, with this, other guy, to get a new company. And she also is, having sex with their own chauffeur. I mean, we learned that Crystal has some secrets now that the butler brought up at the end of the episode. I mean, Blake definitely has some secrets. So, like, literally, I mean, every main character in this has a secret to hide. And that just makes it so, so cool, so dramatic. You really got to, pay attention and it really makes it a lot more interesting this way. And I thought they did that really well, like, right off from the start. they, got this in our minds. Every character has a secret. They're protecting something here. Maybe it's smaller. Some characters are smaller than others, but there's something there, and they'll do anything to kind of keep it under the wraps. So yeah, really great way to do that. I thought, yeah, like I said, they came out right from the top, and came out with that. So that was a great theme throughout. Great dramatic scenes, right? I mean, the scene there with Fallon and Crystal, especially, that was one of the better ones. There was the scenes with Fallon and her driver as well, right? There's some dramatic scenes. So yeah, for sure. So that's sort of what the show is, right? It's like an over dramatized type of thing. And more dramatic than things probably would be in real life. Kind of a little exaggerated. But yeah, I thought we saw some great scenes there. Good comedy throughout as well. I mean, I don't know if it was supposed to be a comedy that much, but I did have a few laughs in this. Probably the funniest was the Fallon eating the head off the groom and the bride statue there from the cake. And she bit the head off right in front of Crystal. So that was funny. I had a good laugh at that one. And I thought there was some other good comedy throughout as well, with Steven as well. And I guess Fallon and Steven, that sort of bond there as well. That had some funny moments. So yeah, good comedy, and comedy. It's always good, right? To have, especially in this show too. I think it's going to be good with the drama and the plot lines. People. You gotta have a good laugh, in between. So yeah, that was definitely a positive. Now, I don't know if this is a positive and negative. Some people like this. I'm not a huge fan of it personally, but it was pretty fast paced, this episode, right? I mean, they throw us into this atmosphere very fast, right? I mean, right from the beginning, we are just thrown into this, and we get introduced to this family and the characters and stuff, but very fast paced. I mean, Fallon and her brother are back at the house, within the first couple of minutes there. And yeah, the whole episode is kind of like that. It's very fast paced. There's, not really any time to stop. There's not really any scenes where you're like, well, that was kind of boring. I didn't really need to see that. But there wasn't like any of those really. It was all, just, here it is, here's the next scene, here's the next scene. So I found myself, really, like at the end of a commercial, I was like, whew, like, wow, like this is going by fast. Here, I have a little break now. So yeah, I don't know. It's a positive and a negative, right? Some people, really like that fast pace. You just hard hitting, you get to it, and you cover a lot of ground. But like maybe you're like me, and some people kind of like it a little bit slower, more development. The thing I would maybe say there is the Deuce. That's like a really over exaggeration of slow moving. Because it is really slow, but I definitely suggest that if you haven't seen it. Really good show. But yeah, so that's sort of what I'm into more, but I could definitely see people loving the fast-paced action, sort of, drama, spit it out to me, let me have it, and, no unnecessary, really, or unrelevant scenes in there. So then, also, they really did a good job in this. I thought this was one of the best parts of the show, is everything very carefree, right? Anything they wanted at any time, and really sets up the specific atmosphere in which the show is, taking on with this family of the Carringtons, right? They really set it up. I mean, the mansion, the type of clothes they wear, the type of cars they drive, they have a butler, the whole wedding with 190 people, and they say, 190 is small. So, yeah, I just really love the way they set this all up, and I found myself, towards the end of the episode, I'm like, wow, like, this is pretty cool. Like, I really felt like, that was, reality for them, right? And yeah, it just kind of sets up, almost a fantasy, really, in the show. And it also shows that as well then when Blake goes to Crystal's house to apologize, and it looks like a rundown apartment, right? Compared to what he has in his mansion. While it's just it's a pretty big house. for a normal person, right? So yeah, I just, and in that scene, I found myself, I'm like, wow, like this is kind of a dump, right? But it's not really at all by any, real life standards. So yeah, for sure, that was really well done. Probably my favorite part of it, as well. Good music during the episode. They had that one song play at the very beginning for like a little bit of a period of time there, first few minutes maybe, and I thought that was great. I just thought it added to it, kind of emphasized it a little bit. It was a little loud for me. I'm not sure if maybe that was just my quality. I'm not sure, but it was a little loud. Like I kind of missed some lines at the beginning there because of the music. But yeah, I thought that was good throughout. And good acting from the main cast, I would say. Elizabeth Gillies or Gillies, she did really great. She's, kind of the main character, so she's kind of the star of this one. And she did great. I thought, all the other characters did great. Even like the minor ones, like the driver, I thought he was good. I will say, Steven, the James McKay, he was probably the worst actor from this cast, at least in this episode. I kind of get who he's playing, right? I think it's, he has a good understanding of the character and all that, but I don't know. I haven't really seen him in much else. And maybe this is, from me being a little biased, but I don't know. I didn't think that he was totally sold on it. He didn't really look as invested as all the other actors. And, that sometimes happens with these shows. And you kind of just, that character kind of goes by the wayside compared to all these other, characters. And there's a lot of characters in this one, right? So it's probably, pretty easy to get forgotten pretty fast. But I have a feeling they're going to focus on him a lot, right? Because he's one of the main family members. So, yeah, we'll have to see, what happens there. But yeah, good acting from the cast. I'm not going to say great. I'm not going to say amazing, like Emmy, Emmy stuff, but good acting, right? I believe, very believable, and I felt, like they were really, characters, they really existed. So, obviously that's the goal at the end of the day. I would have liked to see more background, right, of these characters, see, how this family started the company, where the mom is, some past with, Steven and his dad. Obviously, we know, a lot of tension was there. How Fallon got with this driver. Obviously, it's a pilot, right? So I'm not really surprised at that at all, because you never really see past or background in pilots. But yeah, maybe in the next couple episodes, we'll hopefully see some more of that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of a guy who likes to see that background, likes to see how they got there. That's why I kind of enjoy flashback episodes a little bit more than maybe the next person. But yeah, so just a little criticism there, but like I said, pilot, I wasn't surprised that much. And lots of, sex and relationship stuff throughout, right, with Driver and Fallon, and obviously, Blake and Crystal, and also, Steven, and I forget his name, was it Sonny Joe, or something like that, and obviously, they have a little, like, hook up there. So yeah, lots of that in this show for sure, and I think there's going to continue to be a lot of that. So definitely, setting up that drama sort of stuff, right? So yeah, that was another sort of positive there, and yeah, I think that basically is most of my thoughts. And now I'll get to my rating and favorite character for this one. So in terms of a rating, this is kind of based on this episode, but also, what I kind of see the series looking like, what, this kind of made me think, of what we're going to see this season, and for the rest of the series. So, rating for this is going to be a 4.5 out of 5. So yeah, pretty high, right? Like I said at the beginning, it doesn't pique my interest, a lot, but I kind of, I admire the production and just how the episode was made, how the series looks. I think it's good, right? I've already, shared basically all my thoughts, but yeah, probably the best thing was, like I said, that atmosphere that they created so quick. Every character has a secret to hide. I love that. And honestly, I could see this being a very popular show. I mean, maybe not season 1, but season 2, I think people are going to start talking about this, and I think it's actually going to be a popular show. Obviously, it was pretty popular in the 80s when it was first made, and now this remake, I think it's gonna be pretty good. So I think if you haven't seen it, definitely give the pilot a chance. And yeah, like just give it a chance. Even if you're not really into this, like I'm not totally into this type of genre. But I still enjoyed it. It wasn't a waste of my time at all. I was glad I did tune in. So, for sure. And also, I'm looking forward to the next episode. So that's also a great quality as well. I didn't really mention that, but yeah, great suspense, right? As well to end the episode, to get us, thinking about next week. So great job there. Favorite character gonna be Fallon Carrington, main character played by Elizabeth Gillies. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I'd talk about her now. So yeah, she did great, I think, in her role. She's probably the highlight out of this cast. Her and Natalie Kelly, who plays Crystal. I feel like that's gonna be such a good dynamic between those two, women in the show. That probably the two main women in the show. So I think that's gonna be pretty cool, right? And they're kind of, she's kind of fighting for her dad. Crystal's kind of fighting for her dad too, but in a different way. Obviously, he's not her dad. So yeah, I think that dynamic's gonna be really cool. But yeah, I think Elizabeth Gillies did great. The only other thing I've really seen her in is Vacation. And she had a very small part in that, but I felt like she's been in more that I have seen, because I did recognize her right away when I started watching the episode. So yeah, and I really like the character Fallon. I think she has a lot more stuff about her that we haven't discovered yet too. That's gonna add some stuff, and she's not a totally likable girl, right? She has some she crosses the line a few times in this episode alone. So definitely you're kind of rooting for her though already. So that's great writing there for that character as well. So that'll just about do it for this video, reviewing the Dynasty pilot. So yeah, definitely thanks for watching, guys. And always, as always, thanks for the recent, views, likes, all that stuff, support on my videos. Really appreciate it. Channel's really grown so fast lately, and really like to thank you guys. So yep, again, thanks for watching, and yeah, I won't be reviewing this show week to week like some of my others, so I will be doing this, and, check back on the channel in a few weeks at the end of the season, and I may do a, Season 1 recap or review video as well. So if you're interested in that, definitely, subscribe so you can see that, and also, like I said at the beginning, again, check out some of my other videos too if you're, interested in those. So anyways, again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time for my next review. It's a new day. Hey.